Hello everyone and welcome to my final F1 22 preview video. Now I'm going to try and super condense and pack a 100% race into this 16-minute video. So in the background you're going to see flat out action as we finish the formation. If you're going to enjoy, leave a like on the video and subscribe. I'm going to try and comment and basically keep up with the action in the background as we completely foul on the grid slot. But here we go then, 5 lights and a 100% Miami race as Fernando Alonso is underway. Now then, down to turn 1, I didn't get the best start, the grid slot didn't help, so I just went cautiously into this first corner and I thought, okay, I'm going to just be patient. We are racing on 110% AI with no assists, so this is my first time doing it and we'll see how it goes. Into the S's, I tried to have a look around the outside of Stroll, but a lot of these guys are on softs and they do have that kind of edge in terms of initial grip as Stroll cuts right across our path there to get up the inside of Albon, so I had to back off into the left-hander. On the exit though, you can see these two going into a bit of a drag race and I'm going to try and get involved. As you can see, Albon there almost being forced into the wall by Lance. We're going to get a nice slipstream and use a bit of VRS as we get on the inside of the Canadian, go up the inside into the brake zone. We almost run into Latifi. We have to basically just, take some form of contact and avoid losing our wing, and that allows Lance to re-overtake along with Albon, who also sends one around the outside.
Okay, be careful with the front wing, you've taken some minor damage. No need to worry about the tyre condition for now, everything's looking good.
Now we're going to try and re-challenge here, even with wing damage on lap 2 around the outside, but Stroll actually converts defense into offense, into attack, and actually goes for a move on Albon instead. So I need to just be patient and wait for my opportunity as we go into this very slow section. These two side by side going at an absolute snail's pace. We tried to sneak around the outside of Stroll here and we're going to make it work, and now it's going to be who can get the drive. Worth noting, Carlos Sainz pit end of lap 1 due to damage. Again, I can't show everything because I'm going to run out of time in this video. I have to keep it super tight and compact and within the time limit. So Stroll goes for the move. He's got a bit more straight line speed, but we have the better outside line, which allows us to brake later. Exit of the final corner, we tried to get the traction down, but we have a massive moment as we struggle for rear grip early on with all the fuel on board.
Okay, DRS is now available.
And then we have Elvis confirming DRS is now available as into turn 1, Stroll catches the right front, locks up, and I have nowhere to go and make my damage even worse. Nonetheless, we kept on going and into the brake zone here. We're going to pull off a lovely move around the outside with wing damage on Stroll. And I mentioned this the other day in my first F1 22 preview video where I spoke about wing damage and it not really being as much of a factor in this year's game. You can get away with it compared to last year because these cars, of course, are purely ground effect. So the onboard air over the top isn't as critical as it once was. Having said that, it still plays an important role, but it's definitely not as noticeable as last games. So, nonetheless, at this time I was kind of debating, I might just pit anyway, just to be sure and be safe. However, now we have a massive moment, and that is going to definitely mean we're going to have to pit for a front wing change and confirm that we need to get a replacement as a virtual safety car is triggered.
Caution, the virtual safety car has just been deployed due to build-up of debris on the track.
Now that VSC, of course, being deployed due to the crash and my debris being pretty much scattered over the track, we nailed the pit entry and we're going to get a front wing change. But as I was saying, I was debating changing the wing anyway at this point because I was actually quite slow in traffic and I wasn't able to get past. I had damage, so I thought let's just take a set of tyres, a new wing, and basically run in clean air and do my own race.
You only have to stop once now, one stop left.
Anyway, a few moments later, the VSC came to an end and we had a flawless restart. We now move on to lap 6 and Gasly is in the pit lane due to damage. Same reason as Carlos Sainz. And we're now running in P19. We've got Latifi and Bottas in the pit lane, Zhou Guanyu as well. And these are the first of the pit stops, by the way. These are not damage, as we have Stroll and Albon in the pit lane as well. In the meantime, we're going to catch up to Sebastian Vettel here, who's struggling on his soft tyres at this stage of the race, and I had way more pace on the hards. You can see here, actually, I'm going to just speed this up by making a move up the inside and getting the job done nice and quickly. So up to P12, gradually making that progress. worth noting, even though we got wing damage and had to serve a pit stop, because we served it under VSC, we've actually not lost that much. And that's going to basically counteract the time loss for a wing change as we just get ahead of Norris there, who's rejoined on soft tyres, and Hamilton also on medium. Speaking of which, they have now swapped places, and Hamilton was looking pretty speedy in the Mercedes, and here he comes around the outside into the heavy brake zone on the back straight. We managed to outbrake him and stay ahead though for now as we make our way into the very slow section here where mechanical grip is key. Of course, we've been on these tyres now for about 11 laps, 12 laps now. You can see the tyre wear in the bottom right. Trying to see if I can keep these two at bay, you know, and try and raise these guys for position, because in a 100% race, a safety car brings you right back into it. So here comes Lewis, and he's got a lot of momentum, so we're not going to fight this one, unfortunately. I don't have a lot of battery left anyway, and that was a recurring theme of this race. A few moments later, Lando on the softs is actually going to try his luck and actually dive bomb me up the inside, which was a bit of a surprise. I was trying to keep up with Lewis and stay within DRS range, but he was a bit too fast. So yeah, Lewis pulled away. In the meantime though, I was able to keep Lando at bay, at least for a little while, and fight the McLaren for position, albeit, you know, him being on soft tyres. Here we go again, back straight. This time I'm going to go defensive nice and early, and we're going to force Lando to the outside, which seems to be a pretty easy defensive move to pull off as Lando tries it, but we managed to stay ahead with some contact in the process. Still P10, hanging on to a point, and we're definitely in this race. You know, the plan here is to go into the mediums, and basically that's it, you know, one more stop and go to the end. So if we can pull that off, it's game one again for us in this race. So it's definitely not over, and like I mentioned, the VSC really helped us out in the first part of the race. So in the meantime, Lando again trying it around the outside. We managed to stay in front yet again. Nice defensive driving. Lewis now has disappeared and has overtaken Mick Schumacher and Carlos Sainz, who are ahead of us. Of course, Carlos on a similar strategy to us as well, so the fact we've caught up to him is good. And yeah, we're going to try and put the pressure on these guys. In the meantime though, Lando's had a good exit, and he's had a very strong kind of chicane section, and he's going to be pretty damn close here as the two cars ahead go side by side. Lando here, you can see just closing in, and we have to go defensive. I'm going to try and hang on here under braking into the final corner, but we run it in very, very deep. Don't lock up, just, you know, try to avoid locking up, but I missed the corner by a country mile. And now on the cutback, we're going to get DRS on the hit straight, and you can see
Caution, caution.
yellow flag into turn one, and we just get ahead of Lando.
Right, drop your speed. Our delta's too low, and we're going to risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
And we have another virtual safety car for Yuki Tsunoda, who actually pulls off and seems to have an issue. This VSC is crucial for us because it gives us a chance to pit. We managed to just pass Lando in the nick of time, and that VSC now will be converted to a full safety car.
Okay, we've been informed due to increasing risks, they're moving from a virtual to a full safety car. Full safety car.
Now the reason for that is because Tsunoda had contact with Ricciardo, and yeah, also Tsunoda's original incident, I believe, with George Russell triggering this entire sequence. In the meantime, we're going to pit and get rid of these hard tyres, and we're going to move on to a set of mediums and basically bring our strategy forward by quite a few laps. We're taking another free pit stop under the virtual safety car.
Okay, go, go, go. Come on, you'll be racing on exit. All right, let's get back in the race.
And yeah, we're going to rejoin. Look at the mini-map, by the way. Look how many cars we're approaching.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
I was absolutely bombing it out the pits, and we're just going to get ahead of all these cars on the mini-map, at least 7 or 8 different cars, and crucially get clean air. So, safety car restart with Hunt, Stroll and Albon, who I believe are yet to pit.
Green flag.
And we're back underway. So, let's get to work. We're going to have nice, fresh mediums. Quite a few cars ahead, like I said, haven't stopped, so we will have the advantage. You can see here straight away the grip and the performance we have over Stroll in braking and cornering is just insane, and we actually make a nice little move there through turn 4. Now speeding things up through the S's, we're going to be right on the back of Alex Albon as we go onto the back straight. And again, I'm going to try and use the minimal battery possible because recharge is literally impossible around this circuit. And we're going to see if we can pass Alex under braking here, presumably, as we leave it to the last second. Now we're going to go to the inside, but Alex moves under braking right at the last moment, and we almost run into Zhou Guan Yu. I had to straight line the braking to avoid T-boning the Alpha, but that meant taking Albon with me and going wide of the apex. as Alex there with a bit of a dirty move and weaving in the brake zone. Nonetheless, we're still alive and no damage to our car, and we can now chase after Zhou Guanyu, who also hasn't stopped. So here we are using pretty much the remaining of our ERS as we try to get a slipstream on the Alpha. We're going to switch to the outside and now under braking use the extended circuit to try and get the cutback on the exit, and you can see here we just get that drive, we have that kind of traction and confidence to just floor it out there and have no issues as we move into P7. Zhou Guanyu will have a look at the turn 1, but look at this up ahead, absolute chaos between the AI. It's absolutely bonkers. This is one of the craziest sequences I think I've ever seen in an F1 game ever. I think we have Russell and Magnussen with no front wing.
There's been an incident on track, but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful.
I can see the incident, Elvis, mate. I'm pretty sure it's right ahead of me. And at this point, I don't know who has and who doesn't have damage. I'm pretty sure it's Magnussen and Russell. Ocon and Hamilton are trying to get through, as are we, with no damage. And you'll see here on the back straight, Russell just brakes a little bit and jinks right, cuts off his teammate, and that allows me and Ocon to punch through. And all of a sudden, in a crazy few laps, just before the safety car, and now we're up to P4 and we're on the brink of a podium as we're now all over the back of Ocon, and we're looking at a P3. Also Lewis right on our gearbox here on the back straight, and there's going to be a bit of action with some DRS down into the next brake zone. Look at this, Lewis super close as we're going to choose to go to the outside, which has a lot more width and you can extend your braking zone a lot more. You can see Ocon in the middle, Hamilton on the inside, and we make the double overtake and go the long way around and move into a podium position already on lap 25. And that's crazy because we've already achieved this after getting damage, as now Hamilton is looking for a move and we have to leave some space as he's being quite aggressive and quite feisty. Eventually we just edge ahead out of turn 3, but Lewis not done yet as he now is going to try and go around the outside here, which I have to leave some room. Eventually we managed to just get in front and stay ahead, but Hamilton trying at every possible opportunity, and eventually we managed to stay ahead. A few laps later we lost the TV from the race. Verstappen pits, and worth noting, we actually started to find our pace. Hamilton pit as well, by the way, so we was left alone to kind of do our own race. Sergio Perez pit the lap after, and our pace now at this point of the race was really strong.
The fastest lap at this point in time is a 1 minute 30.5. Okay, be careful. We think you're going to start losing some tyre grip anytime now.
Now I'm basically at this point just doing my own race. We're trying to extend this stint. I want to try and get to like lap 45 and then put a set of softs on at the end, a fresh set of softs. In the meantime, Verstappen has pit, as you saw before, and has caught up to us and is now making the move as he goes up the inside. But we managed to just get back ahead out of the hairpin. But now onto the pit straight, you're going to see here we have no battery left, and Verstappen with some massive overspeed as he clears us comfortably before turn 1, and we have to yield and accept P2. However, I managed to stick with him for a few laps and stay within DRS. Eventually though, lap 41, the tyres were just starting to go. We got our first warning for track limits at 43, we got our second warning for track limits, and now finally at the end of that lap I had enough. I'm going to pit, get the soft tyres on, and we're going to rejoin in P4 behind Checo and Lewis. All we've got to do now is make sure we have a nice clean stop. You can see we now are turning and soft tyres on, and away we go.
Okay mate, let's go, get back in the race.
Now we're going to see just how far behind Lewis and Perez we are as we get back underway out the pits.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
So we're about 5 seconds away. We eventually got back onto the rhythm, set a purple lap 29.9, and these two are battling. So this is going to give us the opportunity now to really close up and reclaim that second place. As you can see here, even on 110 AI, I think they could do with a bit of work to AI in terms of improving their pace. In the meantime though, all over the back of Lewis, these soft tyres were really strong. We had a decent setup, the car was working well. I was feeling confident at this stage after 47 laps. I knew where the limits were, and you can see here we're just waiting as we don't have to use any ERS. We can just use the fresh rubber to make a move under brakes. Nice clean overtake on the inside of Lewis, and now we can go about getting Sergio Perez as we set up the exit out of the slow chicane. We get beautiful traction and we're already on his gearbox. We're just going to wait for the DRS. and make a nice straightforward move here. As we go to the inside, Perez doesn't really defend it, and now all we've got to do is outbrake him into the hairpin as we try to not miss our brake point. Run it a little bit deep, to be fair, we didn't quite get it right, but the exit was good. Bit oversteer though, and a bit of a moment on the exit, which forces Perez to actually get back into our slipstream, and we're not out of the woods yet. You saw Verstappen how fast he was. Perez is going to commit to a dive bomb up the inside. He runs it in super hot. We have to get out of it, but then as a consequence, Hamilton runs into Perez and eventually lost his wing due to contact in that sequence. We also got a penalty at the end.
I'm afraid you've been given a time penalty for that last incident, mate.
And yeah, that was pretty much it. We finished comfortably second with the fastest lap and a 3-second time penalty behind Max Verstappen, and a decent recovery after being way down at the start.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
But yeah guys, that is it. A 100% race crammed into 16 minutes. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe for more, guys. I will have more gameplay coming soon, and especially of course at launch. So yeah, we're on the road to 100k subscribers, and any help would be massively appreciated. As always, check out the 2 videos on your screen regarding F1 22 gameplay, and I'll see you guys in the next one very soon. Until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me.